Okay, let's be real for a sec. Nobody gets excited about mandatory training. But what if we're talking about something that could actually, save your life? And not just yours, but your whole team's. Today we're going to dive into something a little different. Workplace safety. But, like, Israeli style.
Yeah, safety. It's like the thing nobody wants to think about until something goes wrong, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's this company, Keivanim Safety Training and Services. They're doing something kind of different.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of them. Their whole thing is, what is it? Coming home safe is not a dream?
Yeah, that tagline gets you right in the feels.
It does. It's like, whoa, this isn't just some compliance thing. This is like serious stuff.
Totally. And you get that vibe from their website, too. They've got everything, like consulting, training. They even help you set up emergency teams. But it's the way they frame it.
It's that whole safety as a way of life thing they emphasize, right?
Yes. It's not just checking boxes. It's like building a culture.
And that's huge. You want people to want to be safe, not just because it's a rule.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of culture, the founder, Aiyella Biran, her background is fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
Get this. Education, instruction, guidance. Not your typical safety guru, right?
Uh-huh. That is interesting. You'd think she'd be like some ex-military type or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Totally. But with her background, maybe it's like a more personalized approach.
Yeah, maybe she's better understanding how people learn and what makes them tick.
Right, because if you want people to actually remember the training, it's got to be engaging.
Absolutely.
Right?
Nobody wants to sit through some boring lecture.
And that's what's got me curious about Aiyella. This isn't just about, knowing where the fire extinguisher is. This is about changing mindsets.
Totally.
And get this, she's got this blog.
A blog? Really?
Forgotten children in the car.
Yeah.
And even on responsibility in the education system.
Okay. She's saying safety is about more than just rules and regulations.
Yes. It's like she's connecting the dots between our personal lives, our feelings even, and how we show up at work.
That's interesting because, like, our mental state, our emotions, they totally impact how we do things, how focused we are, how aware we are of our surroundings.
Right. I mean, we all know to look both ways before crossing the street. But how often are we rushing, distracted, not really paying attention?
All the time.
Exactly. And that's where accidents happen. So maybe that's part of what Keivanim is trying to do. Make people more mindful, more present.
It's like a holistic approach to safety, right?
Yeah.
Not just the physical stuff, but the mental and emotional, too.
Totally. And you know what else I noticed? They put Ayella's name and contact info right there on the website, front and center.
Really? Huh. So it's like she's not hiding behind the company brand.
It's very personal. Like, reach out directly, let's talk.
Interesting. That's pretty different. Usually
Yeah.
you get some generic contact form or whatever.
Right. But here it's like, I'm Aiyella, and I care about your safety.
Yeah.
And if I'm a business owner, that means something,
It builds trust, for sure. And when it comes to something as important as safety, you got to trust the people you're working with.
It's kind of cool how Keivanim makes safety feel, like, personal,
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, is this an Israeli thing?
Good question. Like, do Israelis just have a different outlook on safety compared to other places?
Yeah. Is it a cultural thing?
Could be. I mean, everyone knows family's a big deal in Israel, right? And community, too. Maybe that translates to how they approach safety at work. Like a sense of responsibility for each other.
Right? Like, your colleagues are like your extended family, so you're going to look out for them.
Exactly. And if that's the vibe, it makes sense why Keivanim's whole approach is so effective, It just clicks.
Totally. It's like they've tapped into something deeper.
It shows how important culture is, even for something like workplace safety. We always talk about the rules and the regs, but maybe the real key is like creating that environment where everyone feels safe, not just physically, but, emotionally too.
100%. It's about going beyond just don't do this, don't do that. It's about giving people a voice, encouraging them to look out for each other.
Oh.
Safety first,
Exactly. And that brings us back to Keivanim's tagline, right? Coming home safe is not a dream.
Man, that really hits home.
It does. Makes you realize safety isn't just some box to tick. It's something we got to strive for together.
So true. Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Keivanim and this whole world of workplace safety Israeli style. But before we go, here's a thought. What if we all took that same approach? Not just at work, but everywhere. Like, imagine if coming home safe was just a given, something we never had to worry about.
No. That would be something.
Wouldn't it? Anyway, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.